We're going to talk about a little bit of the future, which is now. And I'm going to do a live demo that has only been seen once. A week ago in Tel Aviv, in front of 6,000 people, got to see this particular demo. So I'm kind of excited to show you in a small room like this. This is the gist of what I'm going to talk about today. The natural user interface and how you're not the consumer, right? You understand you people are not the consumer. You don't represent the consumer. I'm going to talk about how this is becoming prevalent, either touching screens, waving at them, or speaking to them, and how it will become more and more popular over the, not years, but months, in some of the amazing stuff that's being built. I'm Tim. I'm very comfortable in front of large audiences, so this is kind of fun being with you guys. I've definitely screwed up a demo or two with some of the world's most powerful and rich people breathing down my neck, and I don't mind that at all. I have a long career in technology. It's the last 2-3 years I've been in the retail space with some of this touch it, wave at it, speak at it type product set. But I was supposed to introduce myself. Anybody recognize this date? I expect you not to recognize this date. As painful as this is for me, having worked for or with Microsoft for over 20 years, this is the date of this. And I have been preaching, literally preaching to audiences, mostly technical audiences, for 5-6 years now, that we're going to be touching our screens, and we're going to take our hands off the mouse, and we're going to be able to talk to screens and do all this natural user interface stuff. But no one listened to me until this guy got out, and I've met this guy a few times too. Brilliant, brilliant, you know, God bless his soul. It wasn't until this guy got up on stage and did that the consumer actually bought in, that Grandma Huckaby, you know, my mother, actually considered walking up to a device and touching it as a common way to use software or to make a purchase. Other things that make touching screens and waving at screens prevalent are television shows like this. Has anyone seen this television show? And you admit it. This is the dumbest show on television. I assume you have it here. The females in my life watch this particular television show. I can tell you that the American Medical Association wiped their hands of this show because they make shit up. Excuse my language. They make stuff up. They make up all these medical words and stuff like that, and they have weird sexual encounters in operating rooms and such. But it is, and I'm going to play you a video here, it is things like this that become prevalent in the way a consumer thinks. Let me just show you. We built a piece of software for this television show.
I'll reset
only 60
both
seconds.
Atria and build new ones out of bovine pericardium. And during reconstruction, Dr. Hunt will stay with Linda using a human donor aorta to prepare the vessels for reimplantation.
And all of this in just 4 hours.
We have to be fast. We all set?
Let's go.
All right, prep her and page me when she's ready. Christina? Are you excited?
Yes, absolutely.
Good, good.
The fear of going back in is worse than actually doing it. Just getting back on the horse is all it is.
I'm trying to portray that it's television shows and that magical $800 Apple toy that my wife owns that are changing a culture. Grandma Huckaby sees that silly television show and she just assumes that sometime in the future she's going to be touching things and interacting with software. Okay, so I'm Tim. I have 2 companies and I was asked to come here to show you some of the innovative stuff we're doing The InterKnowlogy company, 90% of the stuff we build, I can't talk in public. You don't know its name, but you know many of the companies that we are building software for, some of which are in this room right now. One might speculate in this season of Grey's Anatomy, they won't be touching the screen, they'll be waving at the screen. There'll be an operation, it's actually a brain surgery, and they'll be going like this and saying zoom and things like that on that television show. But this is real stuff, which I'll show you. I told you I have this retail component to my life too. We have an interactive kiosk product that I'll show you a bit of too also. So I told you I'm a software engineer by trade. This is what I started on. I have gray hair. I've been doing this a long time. I remember, and there's a few of you here with gray hair and a few of you that don't have gray hair. I remember when they told us we had to take our hands off the keyboard and grab the mouse. For those of you with gray hair, do you remember how uncomfortable that was? That is the dumbest thing for me in, what would that be, 1980, 85? In that time, to take your hand off the keyboard, because I'm a machine gun, right? And put it on the mouse. I would argue we are seeing the same change in the way we use computer systems, especially in consumer-based computer systems, where it is uncomfortable now. And let's understand that there are many use cases where you don't want to touch anything. My home airport is LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. I think it's safe to say Heathrow too. You don't want to touch anything in those airports, right? It's disgusting in some cases and unsafe. Waving at them, speaking to them, very legitimate. British Airways, Los Angeles, boom, up comes the flight number. That's a very legitimate use case for this type of thing. Anybody remember this? That's the first mouse that Xerox built a very long time ago. And you know this stuff isn't new. We've been doing this since the 70s. What is new about this is these devices are consumer priced. Some of these awesome vendors out here, we're talking 42-inch HD capable, Windows capable screens for like $1,500 US. That is like unheard of. And fully multi-touch capable. I bought 10 of those screens from one of the vendors out here just last week for a hotel implementation in Hawaii. $1,500 a piece. That is just shocking. And it goes without saying. And all the products we build, you know, they go on the big screens just as well as they go on the smartphones and everything, iPads and everything in between. This stuff gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And in all honesty, it's just easier to build good software these days. The tools and plumbing and platforms are fantastic as compared to when I first started in this business. And it's just going to get better and better and better. So they wanted me to do case study type stuff. You may not know this company. It's an American company. They have like 350 retail outlets. They're famous because they own the licensing to the vampire movie, which I'm too old to remember the name of. Help me out here. The vampire movie, beautiful vampires, they're in love, there's wolves. Thank you, Twilight, right? They have license to this. So in their retail implementations, they have these Microsoft Surface devices. And these young kids, remember, you're not this consumer. Well, maybe a couple of you are. These young kids come in and they design their t-shirts and they interact with music and they do all this social networking stuff and show their friends, and ultimately they make purchases. I can't show it to you live because honestly I don't have an internet connection, but I grabbed one of the engineers before I left for the UK, and here's a little, whoops, wrong, don't have an internet connection. Here we go. Here's a little video of some of the stuff they do. Now, we don't, this is our customer, but we don't have license to the vampire stuff. Edward, the handsome vampire guy. So this is just demo data, but this is essentially the application. There's nothing revolutionary about this other than this company is making a fortune because these teenagers come in and play with this thing and end up purchasing more stuff. Now picture that being a handsome vampire or vampiress And then I failed to mention it so far. The other new thing about this world is these screens look at you or interact with physical objects. So you can put your loyalty card on this thing and automatically do the checkout type of thing. Make sense? All right, moving right along. Come on, mouse. Here, I have a touch screen. There we go. There we go. All right. This particular device was revolutionary for its time. This was Bill Gates' dream about 10 years ago. It now has awesome competition, and competition is good, right? In fact, I know the Flat Frog people are here. That's a Swedish company that make a magical touchscreen device that also does some optical recognition in it too. But what we've learned in the last 5 years with consumers interacting with devices and software is if you integrate physical objects into this world, it has a magical effect. Meaning you're not just touching the screen, you have something physical. In a hotel's case, it is one of the largest hotel chains in the US we built software for. In the wedding planner section, you drag the bride and the groom onto the screen. You drag a bar, you drag a second bar, and guess what? The invoice is going up and up and up, and the bride and groom are loving it, and the only one panicking is the father of the bride who has to pay for it, right? And they have found like a 40% upsell because of physical interaction. So I thought you'd enjoy a little video of something. How do I say this? One might speculate we build software for the gaming industry. Not only the devices that the gamblers use, but the Big Brother software behind the mirrors. And here's a little movie that I think you'll relate to. I'll go straight to the
So I established the
cut to the chase, so to speak.
Finger if you want to cash out. Just, there it goes. Now you got a little extra in your bank. Everything else stays, and we roll again. A couple more things about what we did. We did an interesting gesture implementation here. So if I have my bet out here, let's just go bet up here on the 8. And as I place it down, hopefully you can see that, but there's a set of arrows on each side that let me, we call it the ratchet gesture, and so you can see my bet right next to it.
Oh,
I'm ratcheting
fantastic.
up or down, $100, $200, $500. So let's let it ride high, 500 bucks on 8. I can do the same thing anywhere else, ratchet it up, 200 bucks. I got a lot of cash to spend, so go ahead and spin some up there.
Yeah, I want.
There you go, 1,000.
I want a party.
Maximum 2,000 bet. You're draining your pocket. Let's give it a whirl here.
You are getting to the acrylic dice.
Yes.
My favorite part of this app.
Just added this in the last week. We got these cool acrylic dice. They're see-through. We got these from Microsoft. And you can't even tell on the camera, but they actually have a byte tag on each of the 6 faces. But what's really cool about it is the byte tag sticker is transparent, but they've got it set so the IR sensitivity, the infrared sensitivity on these tags is correct such that the cameras can recognize them. So instead of flicking with my finger, I'm going to roll these physical dice out here, and it's going to recognize the roll, represent it here, just sort of for informational purposes, and go ahead and play the game like normal.
That is awesome.
Is that sweet?
That is so
Cool, huh? Again, because there's a byte tag on this object, that's how it interacts with the screen. It can be anything. The use cases are endless for physical interaction with systems like these. Moving right along. Anybody heard of this thing? This is the, what do they go? The world's fastest electronic selling device or something like that. Believe it or not, it has a Guinness Book of World Record. They sold like 18 million of them over a 2-day stretch or something like that. Obviously in the Xbox world, not in the retail world. But this company, the Xbox Group, made this device available to the Windows platform just a short time ago. And this is actually shipping for the Windows platform. What the heck is this thing? It's an inexpensive 3D camera with a multi-spectrum microphone, which means it can track you, we can demo you, We can talk about from the presenter before this, which is a fantastic presentation. She talked about, well, she calls it privacy. We call it privacy. Our obstacles in this world are privacy laws. In the US, we can figure out if you're 16 or under, and we have to ignore you. But Coca-Cola wants to know 12 to 22. That's the demo they want, right? They want to know who's looking at the ad and for how long. We can do that. Here in the UK, you're very serious about privacy. In Germany, they're crazy serious about privacy. Anywhere in Asia, they don't care, right? In China, it's actually encouraged, right? So it's a little tricky. The technology is not the problem. This is only like a $300 device at list price. So I promised you a live demo. Let me do that now. This is the kiosk product. This is cloud-based, so the content can be anywhere. Do I have a cheat sheet? Yeah, I do. The content could be anywhere, anything, anywhere. This could be your own company's content. This could run in your own lobbies. This could run in your own customers. This is just a technology solution, right? I put up a few samples of, and you can kind of see my image silhouetted. I put up a few samples. Here's a sample video of some software that was built with the Microsoft Kinect. I can have any digital asset in this kiosk system. I don't know if the fidelity of this particular screen here can show you, but I'm silhouetted. When I'm waving, I'm silhouetted right back there. You'll see a better example of it in a second. So let me get out of here. Let me get out of the kiosk. And obviously, the Kinect has to be tuned for its own environment. So I need to get to a place. Bear with me. I'm going to answer one of your questions is, ooh, I want to do this outside. I imagine I get that question all the time. Infrared does not work outside. So this technology is only an indoor thing for now. One might speculate that a smaller form factor device is coming that would even run in devices like this in the short term. One might speculate. This is just a consumer-based 3D camera. So here I am, and again, I really have to be tuned to the Kinect has to be tuned to the environment, and it does work in a peer-to-peer type fashion, so that you can put a number of them together and actually do a better fidelity of tracking than you can with triangulation, right? With cell phones, we can triangulate to about 10 meters. We can triangulate you to 2 inches with a number of Kinects, meaning if you walk in the store, we know who you are, right? Assuming there's no privacy laws, assuming there's an opt-in and you sign up to be tracked. You can walk into, what's the big retailer here? Marks & Spencer, right? We know who you are. We know you're in the store. We know what you're looking at. We could say, hey, you're looking at it. Hey, Tim, you're looking at this suit in the London Marks & Spencer, but we saw you in Northern Ireland. I assume they have those there. Looking at the same suit. You want 20% off right now? We could do that type of stuff. Again, technology is not our issue here. Privacy is our issue here. And in certain parts of the world, we do this. So I'm showing you one of the ways we can zoom in just with a hand gesture. Notice also, as I move, it's having trouble with this thing in front of me. As I move, it's tracking where I go. So technically, you could be walking down the train station and your assets can be following you. In the Grey's Anatomy case, you know, your patients follow you as you're walking down, you know, between operating rooms and such. In this case, you're in a consumer type retail scenario, and because you've been profiled, because you're in a loyalty program, the things you like, and in my wife's case, that would be cute shoes and whatever else she liked, dresses and such, you could be tracked, and we could track numerous people at a time, right? So let me grab this and show you a different way to zoom. How about these cosmetics right here? How about here? And then, you know, there's a lot of background noise, live demo, not tuned for the environment, so let me just try something here. Tor 5. Tor 5. I promise you this works magically. Remember I told you I'm in front of giant Microsoft executives and screwing up demos? Well, here's one right now. The Kinect does have a multi-spectrum microphone. It plucks my voice individually out from your voice. So if you were to shout at it too, it would distinguish between the two. Obviously, it's having trouble here. Tor 5. Tor 2. Tor 3. God bless it. Work. All right, you're going to have to trust me. This works magically in certain environments, which means in a retail environment, probably not so well. One might speculate the fidelity of this device is going to get better in a version that is coming within months as opposed to within years.
Inside and out.
It went into its screensaver mode because I've been talking and not demoing. All right? Cool, huh? How am I doing? Okay, I'm on time. So with Kinect, I think I casually mentioned this. One of the really powerful things us engineers like to do is triangulate. And historically, that has been very, very difficult. Which means in a conference like this, we could track you. And if you walked into this presentation, it could immediately say on your mobile phone, hey, we notice you're in Tim's session. Do you want his PowerPoint deck? That type of thing. In a retail environment, it gets a lot more powerful, obviously. We can demo you. This device has also has a macro mode, so that if you're right in front of it within 2-3 meters, we can authenticate you with certain security, lack of security compliance type thing. But instead of username and password, you can step in front of the thing, and we can do the facial recognition thing. And this isn't future stuff. We can do that right now. This is Big Brother. I mean, we have the potential to be Big Brother here. My companies don't do that type of thing. But this technology is so powerful that technically one could do that type of thing. And again, one might speculate this device, which is essentially 2 years old, this 200 device, which is essentially 2 years old, those people on the Xbox and Kinect teams and Windows teams aren't sitting on their hands. There will be new, better, faster, cheaper in a timely manner. Okay, man, normally I go long. I came in perfectly. I've got to give the next speaker 5 minutes before they start. I hope I showed you a taste of kind of what we're doing right now. It's not so futuristic. I think it's safe for all of us to assume over the next months as opposed to years, you're going to start seeing solutions, especially over here in the UK and certain parts of the US, where we'll be waving at computers and speaking at computers in addition to touching them. Okay. If you're interested in any of this stuff, slides or videos, that's how you can contact me. I'm in the UK for a couple of days, and clearly I love speaking in front of audiences like this, but I do have a motivation. You know, we're just a technology company. We are definitely looking for OEM partners and folks like you to get some of these solutions into the market. All right, that's it. Thanks for having me. Thank you.